Good afternoon, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about another aspect of EB-5 and some recent policy changes that have occurred with USCIS in processing EB-5 cases. As you all know, the grandfathering deadline is coming up October 1st, 2026. You can check some of our other videos in our channel where we talk about this deadline. But to say a few short words about that, as long as you file your EB-5 petition before October 1st of this year, you will be protected against any possible future changes to the EB-5 program. So you want to lock in some of the requirements because those could change in the future. Basically everything, you're protected as long as you're filing your I-526E before October 1st of this year. So we're anticipating a big increase, a rush of clients trying to file before this date. So if you are thinking about EB-5, now is probably the time to do it. You don't want to reach out to us or any other attorney in August when you only have a month or two before the deadline. But anyway, today I wanted to say a few words about a new policy update from USCIS regarding approvals of projects in rural areas. So USCIS periodically makes these policy updates, and it's always helpful because they're publicly going on record as to how they review cases, and it gives attorneys and investors insights into what they need to do when preparing cases and how to best deal with EB-5 petitions. So one change that I think was important, it was kind of understood in the past, but now USCIS came out in the open and said it, that you really only want to invest in approved EB-5 projects. So if you're not familiar with the process, there's a form called 956F. And every regional center and developer that has an EB-5 project, they have to fill out the form, provide all the documents, everything about the project, the business plan, financial projections, etc. They have to send that to USCIS to get the project approved in advance for the investors and for the program. So what that means is when the investors come to file, the government doesn't have to look at all the project documentation. They've already read it. They've approved it, they're good with it, and so all they have to do is look at the investors' side of things. So in the past, you were allowed, if you're an investor, you could invest in a project and file your 526 before the project was approved. They weren't necessarily going to approve your case, but at least you could get a place in line and get the process started. Now, USCIS has officially basically come out and said, look, you really can only invest in a project after you get the 956 approval. So this is really important going forward when we're working with our clients. And if you're looking on your own, you want to make sure that 956F has been approved, because really you can't invest in the project. And so if you're on a quick timeline, and I guess we're going to see this as we get closer and closer to the October 1st deadline, there's going to be a lot of demand for projects that have been approved, and everybody's going to be biting their teeth, their fingernails, hoping that, the next projects get approved in a timely manner so that they can accept investors into those projects. So that was one of the two interesting updates in this policy update. The other one was something that we basically knew about, but USCIS was coming out in the open and more directly saying it, was that they really are putting a priority on rural projects. So what they were saying is that consistent with congressional intent, they're focusing their resources on rural projects, and urban projects will be reviewed to the extent it's possible. So this is something that we saw in practice just because we've been seeing relatively how consistently and quickly rural projects are getting approved, and urban ones are kind of all over the place. They might take 2 years, might take 2.5 years, etc. So they clearly made it explicit that, consistent with quote unquote congressional intent, we're going to be focusing on rural projects. So this isn't an endorsement from my part to say, hey, you should really only look at rural projects. I think a lot depends on the particular investor, what their circumstances are. We actually do have a fair number of investors that aren't necessarily in a hurry to get this process going, or they in theory want to wait maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe let their kids finish a certain level of school or something like that, or wrap up things with their business in their home country. So again, there may be circumstances where you're not in a hurry. You might want to get your money back because urban projects tend to return the money faster. They tend to pay a higher interest rate. But yes, urban projects are taking longer to get reviewed. So again, That really depends on your personal circumstances. Hopefully this was of benefit to you. If it was, we'd love it if you could put a like next to our video. Better yet, consider signing up and subscribing to our channel so that you can stay abreast of all the latest developments in the EB-5 world. And if you are looking at EB-5, which I think you should, if you're looking at a green card option that's consistent, safe, and stable, I think EB-5 is one of the best options out there. Please feel free to reach out to us so that we can give you a personalized consultation as to how to take next steps. You can reach us in the contact information in the video description, and I look forward to speaking to you in the near future.